A man in Oregon was arrested on Thursday for breaking into a couple's house. Now, here's the thing that's really interesting and quite frankly just terrifying about the story. So the man decides to break in and then he strips naked. He crawls into bed where the couple is sleeping with a knife and then climbs on top of the man and kisses him. Insane. Now, what he didn't know, however, was that the man that was sleeping actually had a gun. So the man takes out a gun. The guy with the knife gets scared, pulls up his pants, and starts running off. Now, the male resident, shoots a couple of times but misses him. So the guy was caught, arrested, and is now in jail. You can take a look at his picture here. This is Richard Dean Defeudis. I'm probably mispronouncing that, but there you go.
Okay, so
terrifying.
Okay, so this is a crazy story, right? And by the way, the guy had robbed the place.
Yeah,
and he's like, before I go out. I mean, that guy looks pretty.
And he's been arrested multiple times as well. So he has a record of being arrested. And he also seems to have a substance abuse problem. So
you think?
You think? Yeah, you think? You think? Really?
There might have been some substance abuse.
Some self-medicating going on here,
the victims aren't facing any charges, I should say. So the guy did fire, he missed, but he's not facing any charges.
So a couple of interesting perspectives that comes out of this weird story. One, score one for the gun rights guys.
Yes,
right?
definitely.
I mean, there's not a lot of stories.
That worked out.
Yeah, there's not a lot of stories where you have a gun and it works out positively. But here we are, we're covering one, right?
I can already anticipate the comments.
Okay, so, I mean, in this case, the gun helped. I get it. It's an exception, but it helped.
And in this case, this is why you do have a gun in your house, just in case some crazy guy strips naked and wants to kiss your husband in his sleep. I mean, you know.
Right. Now, I'm nonetheless going to make two anti-gun comments, which you could see coming, right? One, that means the gun was in his bed. Oh, my God, dude. I mean, you're so lucky that this wound up helping you, right? And I'm granting that it did. There's no question.
It could be in the nightstand, though. I'm just going to give him that.
Let's hope it's in the nightstand, because you're much more likely to blow your
under
head
the
off,
pillow.
your wife's head off.
Not a good thing, yeah.
All right, anyway, but hey, it worked out. But then think about this. All the tough guys who think like, oh, yeah, if somebody pulls a gun, I'm going to pull a gun, and I'm going to get the bad guy, right? This guy was on top of him, and he missed him 3 times. And the guy had to pull up his pants. Well, the guy had to get off of him, pull up his pants. The guy, and the reason he got off of him because he already had the gun. It wasn't like, oh, I got to go get the gun. He already had the gun, and he still missed him 3 times. You're not going to shoot the guy in a dark movie theater when he's shooting the other guys.
Yeah, I want to know. I want to see the video of this one. I want to know the action. Like, where was the gun exactly?
Yeah, me too. The details
because like, he could have said to him,
clear.
I have a gun or something like that, and then the guy was like, oh shit, you know, because maybe he was high or freaked out or whatever, and then as he was running away, the guy was trying to shoot him. I don't know.
I'd have to say, though, I'm hoping that he actually missed him on purpose. I hope he wasn't actually trying to shoot the guy.
Yeah.
You know, I'd want to just scare someone. I don't want to hurt anyone.
No. Okay, that's my guess. Okay, but that leads to another really interesting question. As I heard this story, I thought, look, there's not a person on the planet, including me, who wants gun control, etc., who would have blamed the guy if he'd shot him and killed him, right? I mean, is there a better case scenario for self-defense and then there's a naked guy on top of me with a knife like this? Right, he shoots him and kills him. Everybody says not guilty. It's not even a question.
Right.
You don't go to court over that. The cops show up and go.
And the cops actually tell you to do that. Like, shoot the guy. Don't injure him.
Okay. All right. Oh, interesting. Ooh. That's not the guy in this case.
That's a big gun.
But at least now you know how it could go down, right? So now.
Jesus.
Oh, don't do that. By the way, don't do that. Because the gun's going to fall and fire. Yep. I'm telling you, please.
Take out your neighbor.
Right. So, would you have shot him if you didn't have to? Like, so here's my question. Like, let's say, and this is a hypothetical, so as Kelly pointed out, we don't know the exact how exactly the action went down in this case, right? But if the guy's on top of me and I think he's going to stab me, I'd shoot him, right? But if he's on top of me and I pull out the gun and he starts running, there's no way I'd shoot him, right? Now, I think that, right? What? And I think a lot of people are going to disagree with me. So let's have at it. What do you guys think?
Well, I would have shot him. I would shoot him. And even running away. If the guy's in my house still, I'm shooting. I don't know. I mean, I think maybe that's against the law or whatever, but I can't imagine how freaked out I would be. That's why I sleep next to my bed. I don't have a gun, but I do have beer mace, right, for bears. So I have a big can.
I thought you said beer mace.
That's what I thought.
I'm like, is this a new college?
I'm like, yeah, like,
interesting.
yeah. Beer mace.
I think guys get too drunk. That's what you
So
use.
I initially got it because there's coyotes in my neighborhood all over the place, and when I take my dog, and they kill dogs and cats in my neighborhood all the time. So I see them, and they're not afraid of human beings anymore. So that's why I got this for them. But now it's like, oh, I put it next to my, because I'm always afraid of this happening, people breaking into your house. People broke into your house, so that's why I sleep with it, and I can get them, and no one's going to get through bear mace. No one's going to get through bear mace.
That sounds good.
But bear mace
And you don't kill them.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
So I don't have to worry about that killing people.
Yeah, that's fair.
Do you shoot?
I would shoot. I would try. I hope that in that moment, even though I have adrenaline rushing, that I wouldn't shoot at the person. I would just kind of shoot to the side. So I think it's enough. If a guy comes to you with a knife and you have a gun, I think that's enough to scare him. I don't think that I need to pull the trigger on him to make him go away.
I would fucking shoot that guy. Are you kidding
Well,
me?
and the thing is,
Sitting on top
but
of
I really
you?
hope that I wouldn't. I don't think that punishment is deserved. I don't think that I could potentially kill someone over stealing my things. I'm not going to kill you if you steal my things.
In my
He's
bed
hot.
where
I don't
my
know what-
wife sleeps or my children play with their toys.
Yeah, maybe I'm not as protective because I don't have children, but I really don't think
He
that
doesn't either.
potentially killing someone is punishment that should be deserved for stealing my stuff. That's not appropriate. It's not
so
appropriate.
to be fair, it's not about punishment. I just think that, and I get
In
what
the
you're
moment.
saying, Jimmy,
I
but
just-
I feel like if you pulled out the gun, it'd be enough for him to run away. I'd want to give him a second to run away.
Yeah, you'd hope
Yeah.
it'd be enough to scare them and deter. And that's really
Right.
why you have a
You
gun.
don't
Is
start
to
shooting immediately. Like, you don't go, hey, I have a gun. You just go bam, bam, bam.
You know what? But you have
I
to be
think-
trained to do that. And I think the average kind of gun owner in America who has them in their home, I have guns in my home. I'm not trained. I know how to shoot. I know how to do all that stuff. But you have to be kind of like cop mentality or military mentality to be like ready to like pull it and to aim a gun at another human and shoot them. I don't know. I think that takes some serious training to be able to actually pull that off.
Yeah. It's and beyond the training, you'd have killed a guy, right? And I don't know. I just hesitate before
yeah.
killing a guy. And Jimmy, you might be right, and a lot of people out there might think I'm a sucker, and then they might think it's going to cost you your life or whatever, right? But and maybe it will. But I don't want to kill a guy, right?
You don't know if there's another guy in the house. You don't know if he's the only one. You don't know if he's got a gun. He's got a knife at you already. I start shooting immediately at that. If I have a gun, which I don't.
So this is one of the oldest debates in TYT history. Wes Clark and I think JR were talking about if there's somebody in their house, they're not asking questions.
No
right?
questions.
Right.
Right. Whereas I can't shoot the guy. I can't.
Really?
It would, it just, this is such a hypothetical thing. You
Yeah,
really
you
don't
don't
know
know.
until it actually happens, I think. And I have to tell you, in my 20s, which was in the 80s, my ex-husband had a lot of cop friends, and they used to say to me, if someone comes in your house and you pull out your gun, you shoot to kill. Because if you don't, that person will sue you for injuring them. And the cop said it's much cleaner if you shoot to kill. And I'm looking at him like,
What?
yes, this is what they tell you.
Well,
And
look-
especially if you're a woman, because you really got a lot more leeway if you're a woman, if you're protecting yourself in your home with a
I
gun.
believe I'm agreeing with those cops, but I am totally agreeing with those cops.
No, I don't.
I think that's unfortunate.
And but don't get me wrong. It's not like I'm a good guy. I don't want anybody to mistake me for a good guy. Like if it was a hand-to-hand combat and I had to rip the guy's eyeballs out,
You'd do that.
to protect my family, I would do that in a second. You'd be shocked at how vicious I would be in an actual fight.
Do you
right?
have any
Go back to your
weapons in your
football
home,
days.
like a baseball bat by your bed?
Everybody's got a baseball
Okay,
bat,
all
right?
all right.
And
That's
so
true.
and again, I feel much better about that. I mean, you go to work, break the guy's ribs in 18 different ways. If he's in your house, I'm with you, brother, right? But a bullet, you can't bring a bullet back, right?
That's
You can heal the ribs. And
He's in your house.
I know, but
He's
9 out of 10
forfeited his right
times
to
they're
live.
no, that's 9 out of 10 times they're
What?
fucking high out of their mind.
Yeah,
the guy who broke into my house.
I'm
high
guessing
as a
there's
fucking
mental
kite.
illness and drugs
Right.
involved with this for sure.
Oh, okay. I didn't think of it like that.
Yeah.
Still, though, I got to have a sanctuary. I got to be able to. I can't be nervous going to sleep I can't worry.
Thank God
about-
you have beer mace only.
I have the mace.
Except the guy gets even higher. He's like, oh man, this beer mace is pretty good. Got any more where that came from?